How does that look?
No, I'm not saying that. You get some sense that there's a handful of stocks.
Look at that. I mean, you could tie that to the market. Bang.
Hey, it's Tim Seymour. We're here on Commercial Break. And this week, we're going to talk about everything from football to ultimately, again, what we should be paying for our insurance. But, Guy Adami, the NFL is riding the crest of some of the greatest games that I think we've ever seen in a playoff. I mean, every game better than the next.
No question about it. I mean, I'm not from Western New York, Buffalo specifically.
Yes,
but
sir.
That's as heartbreaking a loss, literally, as I've ever seen. I am not a Buffalo Bill fan, but I am crushed for not only the team, but for the entire region. It's an awful, awful loss.
Well, and as good as the football has been, and the NFL, kudos, because I think, again, the entertainment value of football, especially this playoff season, has never been higher. But I'm getting crushed every football game. And as good as the football has been, I mean, can I get 5 more insurance commercials every time we go to commercial break, please? I mean, I don't care which insurance company it is. No wonder I'm paying. My insurance rates are going up 10 to 15% a year on my house. My car, I haven't been into an accident in years. And knock on wood, I'm superstitious enough I'm about to drive into a tree. But look, my insurance rates are going through the roof, and all I do is see insurance commercials every Sunday, day after day.
Were you a Stevie Wonder superstition fan or Stevie Ray Vaughan superstition fan?
Stevie Wonder. And we've done this, so I think SRV is a little overrated. Stevie Wonder, underrated, and again, a remarkable talent. But thanks for asking. Who is your? Do you like these insurance commercials? I mean, I think the ones where the guy who's "Don't Be Your Parents" ones are kind of funny. My kids love them because they're like, "Dad, you're the guy in the restaurant that's asking for the waiter's name. You don't need to call him by the name." So they're dead on with that. But again, I'm sick of insurance commercials.
They're sort of funny. There's one that sort of sticks out to me, and it's interesting. If I said the name to you, by the way, you're very good at this. You're going to know this.
Yeah.
If I said the name Vincent Fournier, what does that mean to you?
Is he that guy? Is he that 3-point sharpshooter the Knicks signed in the offseason that's been terrible this year and is part of the reason why the Knicks suck?
No, that's
Fournier.
Foru. No, that's not.
Fournier.
He doesn't play for the Knicks. And I got to tell you something. I don't think this guy has ever shot a basketball. Not that that helps you. I'll give you a clue. One of the great makeup faces in the history of rock and roll.
Peter Criss, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley of Frehley's Comet. No, also known as Kiss. Those guys invented the makeup. Is that who we're talking about?
No, we're not. We're talking about the great Alice Cooper, born this week in 1948. And I mention him because you're mentioning progressive commercials and all these things. At Home with Baker Mayfield, the one with him and Alice Cooper, is absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's tremendous.
So, all right. So Vincent Fournier, also known as Alice Cooper. I don't know how he got there. By the way, I mean, let's be clear. In a world where Howard Stern is a shock jock, this was shock rock. And Alice, I think, started this whole thing. And I don't think I could tell you once. Actually, "School's Out for Summer." "School's Out for," like that was the song, the anthem that they played on every teen movie in the late '70s. So good for Alice. Look, the fact that Alice and Baker Mayfield have teamed up in an insurance commercial means these guys will do anything for a buck. Anything. I mean, and I guess it's okay because somebody's paying them, but I'm not. Or I am paying them. My insurance rates are going through the roof.
So you asked how you got there. I mean, you started off telling us, we talked about football. Then you said how exercised you've become by watching all the insurance commercials. I knew that it was Alice Cooper's birthday this week from 1948. I also knew that Baker Mayfield and him did an insurance commercial. And that's how we got there. Because that's how our mind works on commercial break.
Well, and you know what I know is that the dollar is now at 18-month high. So let's talk about the almighty dollar, and let's talk about the fact that after laying in the weeds and being fearful, and folks on commercial break know, because we talk about this in our world on CNBC. Look, the importance of the dollar in terms of what it means for company earnings, what it means for their outlook, what it means for margin pressures is really important. What it means for you and me walking around the streets of New York or Croton, where you obviously probably can't walk the streets because I realize after dark it's very unsafe. But we don't even think about the dollars in our pocket. We don't even think about that at some point we might even not be walking around with dollars in our pocket, because as they say, in a world where if you look at the dollar versus the British pound or the euro, We don't care about that in this country because, as they say, it's our dollar, your problem. And really, the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury set the standard for interest rates and currency policy. And right now, the dollar is still king, even in a world of digital currencies.
It's interesting that the dollar is getting its footing. And if you're traveling right now, guess what? Your dollar can buy more. So that's a good thing. But you mentioned, Croton and After Dark. The reason why it's unsafe is because it's very difficult to see because we had to shut the gas lights down to save on our bills, Tim. That's what just happens in Croton on Hudson. I know in Scarsdale, it's a much different story.
I feel like I'm being gaslighted right now. And if you think about the impact of a higher dollar on commodity prices, let's bring it back on the rails here. What's interesting here is oil is at all-time highs too, while the dollar is probing high. I think this all goes back to Fed policy in the sense that, and this is taking place in the currency markets, which, by the way, are the biggest, deepest, most liquid markets in the world. We talk about stocks, we talk about companies, nothing compared to the currency markets, which trillions trade every day. I think you've got a case here where the fact that the Fed has sent the message to the world that we're behind the curve and we're going to start hiking rates, and we see that in the bond market and in the stock market, but it's happening in the currency market. I think the dollar's going a lot higher, Guy. It's time to pack up your backpack and do that European Eurail pass, where you kind of backpack around Europe, don't shower for 3 weeks, drink a lot of water, and drink a lot of beer.
That's called a normal 3-week period for me, Tim, unfortunately. I mean, that's just where I am right now. But it is important to stay hydrated. I think it's equally important to focus on the dollar because, to your point, we don't talk about it nearly often enough. But if the dollar's stronger, that hidden tax from a weaker dollar becomes sort of a tailwind for your buying power. That's a good thing. So maybe you can get an extra pack of gummy bears in the hotel, or maybe you can buy that $15 magazine in one of those shops in the airport.
Do you lay down the edict to your kids when you arrive at a hotel? Like anybody goes near the snacks or the mini bar, I'm taking it out of your allowance, which I do, and they hate me for it. And in fact, we were on vacation over Christmas break, and I learned from another family that was also traveling with us that they were like, yeah, so you eating those snacks by the thing? I'm like, I'm not eating those snacks. I'm not paying $9 for a thing of M&Ms. And he's like, they're free.
That's a great point.
And my kids,
Listen.
so my kids, hold on, my kids heard about this, and so they went back and raided our snack shelf, only for me to learn as we checked out that they weren't free. They weren't free, and I have like 15 charges of $9 M&Ms on my thing. That's $135.
And you were not happy,
by the way.
and you were the boomer Tim from those commercials, bringing it all back. I will tell you, I was recently traveling. I just got back from Florida. And there was a can of Pringles in the aforementioned snack bar, and I couldn't help myself. I was really hungry. I grabbed them, and you forget how good Pringles are, but that's probably another commercial break.
Was it one of those half tins, or was it like the big tin? I mean, because, the half tin is what they usually give you, but if they gave you the big tin, you're going to eat all of it.
It was the full Monty. It was the whole cylinder, baby, and I took it all down.
Dollar strength can be a headwind, can be a tailwind. It's probably actually a headwind to inflation. It's probably good news for the Federal Reserve that dollar's picking up steam. Again, a weaker dollar, I think, stoked the flames of some of the inflationary pressure on top of their own policy. What people also forget is that a strong dollar makes buying power for everyone else around the world a little less. So if you're sitting in the UK, you actually are paying more for your Apple download, or you're paying more for your Lululemon shirt that you have on today. And actually a stronger dollar, good for you and me, not good for corporate America. I know people probably didn't know that.
I think Stoke the Flame would be a great name for a band. So if you're thinking of starting a band out there, I think your name should be Stoke the Flame. But we sort of got to get out of here because, Tim, we're flaming out. We're up against a hard out, as they say. But you can catch us. Listen, if you're traveling, you find us. He's Tim Seymour. I'm Guy Adami. Reach TV every single day, Tim. But what are we collectively?
Before we're not endorsing the song The Flame by Cheap Trick, because that is probably one of their worst songs. But we are Commercial Break. Guy Adami. I'll see you soon.